That's pretty much what my motto was this morning. Not last night. Last night we were having fun, but except for Mifune really needs to work on his camera skills because like he just would not like stop moving. He was like, "Oh, I gotta get it set."
Hand them the knives and be done with it. What?
Well,
I don't know what's
that's
happening now.
how we're going to do it today.
Don't mind Dirk. He's just on the same political line as his country is right now.
Look, I'm officially sleep deprived because of Sothercell. So
Welcome to the show.
I don't want to know what you guys were up to last night.
Don't blame it on me that you decided instead of going to bed at a reasonable time, you stayed up until the sign-ups that you agreed you would handle. Like, come on. You can't put that on me.
I can put that on you because if I hadn't been roped into your damn tournament, I wouldn't have had to stay up until the sign-ups.
See, most other shows,
most
other shows have like a really, really well-honed kind of introduction. Ours is just all over the fucking shop.
Hello, push to talk.
Come on.
It's all about the fun.
Yeah.
Fun, that's what we call it here.
Yeah, and I'm
today
playing with the layering on the video as we're starting up too.
Eric has turned everyone into a ghost, so that's fine.
There you go.
Eric is just like ruined things.
We've got
I ruin everything.
We got Caleb here. Dave is gonna work.
You don't get to do this, Dawn. No intro.
What do you mean I don't get to do this?
We've moved beyond the intro now.
Yeah.
How long did
like,
no. 3 minutes. It's been 3 whole minutes.
Intro. No. You've got to intro the stream when the stream is starting. Otherwise, there's no intro. That's just how it goes. That's the rule.
Ugh.
Those
are the rules that he just made up.
There we go.
So last night there was a fun event. And by fun, I mean I sat here hoping for a lot more.
That's a really weird way to call...
Before we start talking about last night, did the thing happen yet?
The thing?
Yes, the thing.
No, the thing didn't happen yet.
The thing didn't happen yet, okay.
I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm just telling him that the thing didn't happen.
Well, if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, then the thing didn't actually happen yet.
See, even when I have no idea what Sothersil is talking about, I can provide him with a perfectly accurate answer. This is a weird friendship we have.
A satisfactory answer.
But I gotta be careful because I know things that are about to happen today or tomorrow.
Don't flash your knowledge of things in our faces. Don't.
Horrendous.
That
Brandis
very
is like,
close to
shit,
a
I better
particular
come
phrase
save
that
this
was going to be very
before they
not safe for work.
Release all the OPSEC under the
Oh,
sun.
come on. It's only been 3 minutes, Eric. 3 minutes!
Eric,
3 minutes!
Eric,
And the German is already
What?
flashing.
What?
do you mind? I invited Billy this week. Are you okay with him coming on and hanging out today?
We hate you, but we can.
I don't
him.
care.
So I can tell Billy to his face that a thing is about to happen. Nice!
Yes, and he will be incredibly worried about your thing as everyone else is worried about you flashing your thing.
Oh my god.
Oh, Billy's in the public. Can you drag him down?
Yeah, drag him down.
This is just how this goes.
Yeah.
I'm already worried.
Hey, Billy, what's up? I got it. Hold on. Do we have to unmute him?
Okay,
No, he's
there we go.
He's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Oh, he's
cool.
good.
All right. Hey,
Hey,
Billy.
How's it going?
Morning, kind folks.
What's shaking?
Fine. You may be on the wrong show.
Before we get into the other things, Billy, will your alliance throw up a team for the Anger Games?
That's a very good question. The Anger Games.
Oh,
That's really the
How
only
have you
reason.
missed the Anger Games?
That's the only reason we
Anger
brought you on, Billy. To be honest, I mean,
that's not true.
No, that's the only
What
reason
is
we let
the
Soft
Anger
on.
Games?
it's true. That's
Oh, what is the Anger
No.
Games?
It is the second largest player-run tournament in EVE.
Do you want to give people a bit more info than that? Like, holy
Um,
shit.
It's a 7v7, kind of in the style of the AT, just with the stakes are a bit lower, and it is also geared more towards players that are a bit newish to tournaments, right? So we get new people into the tournament scene because, let's be honest, we need new people into the tournament scene. So CCP sees that players are actually interested in tournaments.
Okay, Soth, I'm gonna just say this right now. You need to write up a blurb that answers that question, keep it on a card, and then just read it off nice and smooth with, "I'm glad you asked."
I have a guy
Horrendous.
for that. It's the one who
Horrendous.
asked the question.
I mean, it sounds like a great idea. I wasn't like tracking it at all, and I usually think I'm at least somewhat, ear to the ground on most of the stuff. So
I just want to point out, Horrendous, that we have 2 articles on INN about the Anger Games this time around so far already, and Sother still cannot give off a spiel about what the hell the Anger
And
Games
it's
is,
the
even
first
though
time
but
I'm
nobody
Anger
reads
Games
INN,
run,
not
right.
even Imperium members.
It's
It's on Reddit.
as well.
It's
Come
on Reddit too, so your guys should be fine, Bill.
I mean, I'm
read
not
it.
gonna lie. I don't generally tend to read much stuff at all. From...
Oh, I read INN.
I read
But that's
it.
because, that's
I-
because
you
you,
know what?
write to INN though. That's the thing.
I
you
don't
write
care.
to INN.
I don't care what Billy says. I read INN.
Look,
That's
it's
fair
on
enough.
Reddit as well,
Why?
so everyone should be fine. Even Dave Stark can comment about the Anger Games on Reddit.
Oh yeah, I saw
the title
and then skipped over it.
Because we've heard it so much already on here.
Does
I only
does
read
either of the
stuff on INN, so.
do either of the articles on INN have an abstract at the start as to what the Anger Games is? Because then at least you
Yes,
could use that
but
sort.
the announcement post has an abstract. Sothersil could have read it, but no, he didn't. He chose not to. That's his problem. I wrote a
come
thing
on.
for him and he ignored it.
So you said it's
So the original
77.
question.
Who runs it?
We clearly need to drink somewhere.
Saucer still does.
Soth
do,
or something.
yes.
Oh, okay, good job, Soth. What's the what are the prizes like, if at all?
I can tell you there will be some amount of plex, both from-
Minimum 64,000 plex
Yes,
spread across various teams.
There might be more.
Is that
plex.
based on a minimum amount of teams entering, or?
That's based on teams entering, yes, but yeah, if we fill the tournament at minimum 64,000 plex, CCP have also suggested that they will be giving us extra plex on top of that. We don't have an exact number yet, but it will be coming in the future weeks, and also exclusive tournament prize skins.
Ooh,
Ooh, yeah.
now there's something.
So are those? So is there an entry per team, or?
Yes.
Yes, it's 2,000 plex per team.
Oh, so you?
That's-
How many teams enter? Like 1 or 2,000, or 1 or 2 teams, or blah blah blah. Is there 32 teams at
Up to
1,000?
32 teams.
Okay, so you're basically just paying the entry fees. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense.
At minimum.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
if anybody in Twitch chat wants to sponsor the Anger Games, we will happily take sponsorships and talk you up to our viewership as we go live on Twitch on an as yet undisclosed channel in April and May. So, you know, if you want to give us Plex in order for us to shout you out every day for the weekends for 3 weeks, yeah, have fun.
There you go.
I'm sure you'll. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I imagine you guys have at least the ability to do ad breaks and stuff like that, so you could potentially even do.
See, I'm not the only one that thought of this, Dirk.
The 30-second kind of 80 tournament ad break kind of stuff.
Yes, Dawn,
maybe?
you are not the only person to talk about this, and yes, adverts are a thing that we are aware of existing, and we don't have a full plan for that yet, but it's coming.
I have a way of incorporating it if you need.
Wonderful. McLeod's just volunteered to be on staff, Sother. So
amazing. Welcome to the team.
No. I am a contracted advisor. I am a contracted advisor.
No, McLeod, if you're on the Discord, you're getting staff roles. Like, fuck you.
Well, tough shit then, because I'm not on the Discord.
Okay, Soth, how do we force him to be on the Discord and then just, like, force him to do work?
Yeah, hijack his account.
Because this is how I ended up doing all of this bullshit, by the way, McLeod. I was just, like, co-opted, so you've officially been, like, I don't know, dragooned into the Ang Game staff team.
You did that. You see, Dirk, you did that incorrectly. You're meant to have tempted me onto the server first and then drop the ball.
We don't need to tempt you. You're just here now. This is it.
I can always PM you the ways and means on how to do it.
You've said it live on stream. You're part of it now.
I choose my words very carefully in a very sloppy way. So
I can give you some actual updates about the Anger Games, though, because
please do. Welcome to the Anger Game
who aren't aware.
Please, God, do.
Right after downtime, we started the signups today, and so far we had 18 teams sign up already.
Nice.
That means we have 6 more spots for teams that will get in immediately, and then we have 8 more spots that will be drawn out at random if we get more than 32 teams.
Awesome.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Do the teams have to be specifically based around alliances, or can they be just like a collection of dudes who want to do,
You can mix up alliances all you want.
Basically, grab your friends and get in our tournament.
You just named a team there, McLeod. Collection of dudes.
Yeah, collection of dudes. I'm betting that collection of dudes wins the tournament.
It would be better than some of the team names we have already.
Well, the team name could be, COD.
We currently have teams like Higgers, Gamma Geese, Hangry Nubs, and Gundra Unloaded. So, your
collection of dudes just sounds like really dull and boring now.
I am very amazed that no one so far is pretending to be a different alliance. Because there's no rules against that. If you want to play as Pandemic Legion, then you can do that. You have to take that up with PL afterwards, I guess.
I imagine there is a bit of a stipulation that the name of your team can't be something that is somewhat politically incorrect.
There is no such stipulation. It doesn't exist.
You might want to remedy that.
As long as we can say it live on Twitch, we're fine. Otherwise, we'll find something else for your team to be called, and that'll just be what your team is called. So be reasonable, or we'll fix it for you.
Or
we'll creatively edit. Yeah, we'll creatively edit that.
No, we're not even calling it creative editing. We'll fix it for you.
We'll fix it for you.
And there you go, 2 more team names. Creative editing, and we'll fix it for you.
That's like, INN, when news breaks, we'll fix it.
So, Billy, were you there last night? By the way.
Yep.
What?
I heard rumors that you jumped out last night, Billy.
Yeah, my wyvern that was on the fort actually. Yeah, moonwalked. So I was happy to get that account back.
Really?
Congrats getting
throw
that
a
out.
Michael Jackson reference on this show. Seriously.
I logged in and was able to jump out 5 seconds before a Dictor landed on me. I don't know what you call it.
What, Eric?
He said moonwalked. You know, throwing.
Right. What?
I
think.
I think
Michael Jackson reference is suddenly a thing with you.
I don't think that
Moonwalk.
needs to be a Michael Jackson reference. I think it's like, you know,
I know.
In the sort of general sort of lexicon nowadays.
Yeah, isn't that kind of like just a general Eve descriptor? Of
Yes,
like,
I was just teasing you, man.
Okay.
Why do you have a wyvern?
Why do I have a wyvern?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Enough to drop out.
Running a shield super carrier fleet? I can't imagine what ship would be perfect for that.
Dawn isn't that well prepared. Like
a
she doesn't
Komodo.
know test runs only.
Well, no,
shields
like
with
my wyvern I usually use to run super carriers, and it's great for running links with the super capitals. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's so ugly.
well, actually, that was my reclone wyvern, to be honest. That's why I was on the fort. But
I actually had somebody asking for a recloner last night, so it would have been good to know that you were available, Lily.
Interesting thing though is like with the changes to the size of the super carriers now, the wyvern isn't the same size as a
Macarial.
as a Macarial these days now.
So that was
yeah,
one
the
good
size
change
of the
this
wyvern
season.
and Hells and Aeons and Nyxes is actually, in my opinion, been a great change. It was such a simple change, but it's been just incredibly beautiful,
Well, now
both aesthetically, and like, it actually
Satisfying.
has some tactical implications in the way they bump and physically interact with each other. That's been really good.
it kind of sucks that you know, you can't have a you can't have a boson attack like you used to. And I mean that from both kind of perspectives, right? You guys
Sure, but
can't do it to
like
us.
when
we
it comes to
can't do
super
you.
carriers, should you ever really have been able to like pack them that tightly? Like the fact that you could fit 30 super carriers in the space of one Titan is perhaps not as it should have been.
No, that is very true. I'm just kind of thinking maybe that the application to some of the like more creative super weapons might have to be changed in order for situations to be like that to be tempting to do, because that provides situations where people put their ships in, a fair amount of ships in mortal danger, right? That's what that's all I'm saying, really. It's like
of course.
You want people to sort of try and do the unexpected kind of like
People
alpha,
making different and interesting tactical plays is always cool.
Yeah, rather than
and
just
that
the
in that way
safe
allowed
ones.
that one tactical play to happen. But with that being said, I think that the new size will also open up new tactical opportunities for people if they get creative enough, as it almost always is in Eve. If you're willing to think outside the box, you can come up with creative things.
Hey, Soft, did you see
Definitely.
Agent Black Baron there wants to know who to contact for a prize donation to the tournament? So,
Well, you can send just money to Don Rhea. I can't guarantee it'll go
No,
anywhere.
ignore Dawn. If you want to go ahead and join the official Ang Games Discord, which I'm sure Sothersil has an easy link for, rather than me looking it up.
Ooh, where's that?
That is going to be linked in Twitch chat in just a second.
I'll make sure not to click it.
There it is in Twitch chat twice. Soth, what is that link that you've just made up? God damn it, Soth. Jesus Christ!
It's the same Discord, but a different channel.
I hate that we have this level of unprofessionalism. But yeah, any of the admins in that Discord channel, and we'll make sure that it gets to the right
Are you
place.
guys getting spicy? What are you doing?
You just Sothersil is a terrible mess when it comes to organizing things, and he flails around a lot, and just generally it's a thing. All right,
McLeod,
That almost seems like
McLeod, did you check
Wait,
the link?
Wait, I think we have just heard a dire insult here, folks. You said the German is bad at organization.
It's only an insult if I meant it like offensively. I didn't. It's just a statement of fact.
It's not how you meant it.
At organizing, but it is kind of being made worse by certain people not keeping to their own schedule.
Don't even try that with me.
Why aren't you keeping your own schedule?
I am exactly keeping to my own schedule, and I don't know what he's talking about.
You're not fucking Gandalf.
No, he was cool.
How do you know?
He's a bit old for me.
Okay, has anyone here actually seen Dirk? Can we confirm he is not Ian McKellen?
I think he's definitely not Ian McKellen.
Yes, I have seen Dirk.
Okay,
I'll admit I'm not Ian McKellen. Like,
he's definitely not that cool.
That level of
well, then you're not Gandalf. Just deal with it.
Dun, dun, dun.
If what he's trying to say is he doesn't have a fucking wizard hat, then I can't actually confirm that.
No, I don't have a wizard hat, actually.
We could just make another one out of supers and fighters.
I know a wonderful person who does have a wizard hat and is just generally good at the whole wizard cosplay, but that's not me.
I think you also need to embrace the camp a little bit more if you want to be mixed up with McKellen.
Was that a kink shame?
No, not at all. It was the exact opposite. I think you should embrace some more camp.
Encouragement.
It's just a personal insult, Caleb. Okay.
Billy's over there
I see how
going,
this is
what
going.
the hell did I get myself into?
No, I've been here before. I'm literally just like in that early morning kind of like, I don't know, haze where I'm having like the first sip of my coffee that's at perfect temperature, and I'm just like, oh, it's like it's that beautiful moment, right? And I'm just sitting here enjoying it.
What are you, West Coast time
And
zone?
we're ruining
Breakfast?
it entirely. Sorry about that.
He's in Ontario, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Ontario? What time zone is that?
Look, don't go harshing on those.
Central East. I don't even know the names of the time zones.
Well,
I just know everything relative to U.S. Or relative to the Eve time zone.
Because I'm East Coast and it's 1:23 p.m. and you're having coffee at 1:23 p.m. I'm like, dude, you gotta wake up.
Yeah,
Hey, I wake up an hour before the show, so at
5
the
minutes before the
earliest.
show, so don't, like I said,
Exactly.
I am up at like 5:30 a.m. man, weekend or weekday.
you're a
doesn't
small
matter.
business owner. You're expected to not know how to actually take time off.
Exactly.
No,
you're
you
like a
sleep
CEO
in
of 2 companies,
Vegas
for God's sake.
till 8.
Oh yeah, I slept until 8. Ooh.
That's like 2.5 hours extra for you.
It is. It is a little extra.
I need more tables.
You need more tables?
Yeah, I'm in my computer room. I've got obviously my desk, where my desk is covered in monitors. And then I've got
I mean,
a little,
you'll hate me,
tray
but
table.
you'll hate me, but I woke up at 1 in the afternoon.
You lazy piece of shit.
I woke
But then
up
again, you have
20
to
minutes
understand.
before the
You have to
show went
understand.
live. Fuck
You have
all.
to also understand that like I did go to sleep at 7 in the morning. So
Hey, because you guys left the field yesterday, I didn't have to stay up last night streaming till downtime, so it worked out for me. I appreciated that. Is there?
Well, the viewers appreciated that too.
That's partly why we left when we did. Is it was already getting quite late, and I don't think anybody wanted to do a 12-hour op that night. Let's say.
Oh, I thought that would have been like the best time. Hold grid for like 9 more hours, and then at downtime, everybody log in and just jump. Because there's no way we could get bubbles up there that fast.
I don't think that's quite the plan. Let's say to try and hold grid for 9 hours.
I mean, it's a plan. Like, but how viable
There were so
it
many
is, I don't
plans.
know.
We were checking out so many plans last night, and like my friend, he's like, "Don, don't give him ideas." I'm like, "I'm not the tactical genius here. Everything I say is probably wrong."
Whoever told you to not give the enemy ideas is clearly wrong. Please, Don, give them more ideas.
Yeah, Billy, can I be hired as your tactician? I promise. In everything we finish.
I've already told you, Don, that there's job offers open if you feel you want to switch sides.
If you want to jump ship, Dawn, go right ahead. But we may blackball you here.
Yeah, and just like literally, you can like warp your super down into the camp. You can switch sides and log off. I'm sure they'll let you. And then.
Unfortunately, you have to be docked to Twitch corporations. Otherwise, yeah, if you want to warp into the camp and switch sides, sure.
No, guys,
I think it would be hilarious for your peer members to let their guys switch sides in the middle of the camp. They could just like let them drop corp, warp down. They're like, all right, this is your punishment. Now you get to like log off in the camp, and I think that would be a reasonable way to do it.
It would be hilarious. That's for sure.
You can't switch sides without being able to fully understand the plight of the other side.
I've had characters logged off in hostile regions for weeks at a time as well, and that was voluntary.
Well,
so,
see, that's the difference. It was voluntary, Dawn. Like,
I'm just saying I can handle it
under a bubble camp. You know, that's a bit of a difference than voluntary log off.
The only thing I'd care about is if my skill queue long enough to handle it. Yes, my character has 300 days of stuff, so she'd be fine.
You can manage your skill queue remotely with the EVE Online app now, so that's not even a concern.
We need that advert kind of background music.
I did not get paid for that advert, which is hilarious, but it did sound that way, didn't it?
Can you tell us who you spoke to so that we can randomly do that bullshit too?
Hang on,
actually, if I think about it, I got paid for it in like partnership skins, and supposedly a free account.
Did you get your skin?
I'm not sure. I got my skin for January. It's a pretty cool skin.
And a caracal. That's very cute. And then
yeah, I heard rumors. Plex? I heard a rumor about getting a free account somewhere, but I'm not.
We
sure
get a couple months at least. The streamers do. I don't know about the everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
Are you guys talking about the new caracal skin?
Yeah, and the partnership program.
Yeah, they're very very nice.
I've got the one for the Astero. I'd rather have the one for the Caracal, though, to be honest. Never fly the Astero.
Well, I think we're getting one every month, which would be great. So I'll have a nice little line of them.
Yeah, my understanding is it's a 12 skin line, right? So it goes for the whole year?
It's a new skin every month.
Oh, God. I have to keep people entertained for a year? Dear Lord.
Alternatively, you just buy them when you need them.
The direct injection.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They give you codes.
Oh. I thought the codes were direct injection, but apparently I'm wrong.
The codes are they'll give you the item, you can put it on market, etc.
Cool.
I have to redeem my codes.
That's a. Can I just say, well, we have a CSM member on in chat. Like, that is a much better way to do it than the direct injection method.
As someone who has spent the better part of the last 12 years being primarily as one of my main 3 sources of income, a skin trader, I can assure you it is also of my opinion that direct injection is not cool.
Also, what do you mean, Doug, now that we have a CSM member here? Brisk is here every week.
But he's not here right now.
Brisk is only here for shower picks, Sothercell. That's why we pay him.
This is true.
And also, yeah, at Brisk, where's our shower pick this week?
We also have somebody who was kind of the CSM before CSMs were a thing. Caleb was actually.
Let's not talk about that at all. That was with IRC chat, and it was a fucking mess.
Just pointing out that Brisk is.
So it counts.
Brisk is indeed in the shower listening to the show, and obviously, that
has never stopped him before.
Just try and ask Willy and Brisk how they would like to swap to actually doing all CSM work only on IRC chat.
That's so 80s.
Not late 90s, right?
Okay.
All that.
Well, maybe the 80s.
I think people are using IRC right into mid and late 2000s, if I recall.
Yeah, and Slack is pretty much just an upgraded IRC client, isn't it?
I mean, essentially.
I
Yeah.
think someone like Entity would actually say that you can do more on IRC than you can on Slack.
I don't know what IRC or any of that is, so.
Somebody,
IRC is like literally like what you guys Jabber, like 2 versions before it was Jabber. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
I mean,
I
it's
hate
literally instant relay chat, which is like,
yeah.
I mean, it was basically the first iteration of chat rooms on the internet, essentially.
No, there was Bitnet before that.
Oh, okay.
You can control quite a lot of interesting things using IRC. Just saying.
IRC was just one of the first ones that really took off. I guess you could
Yeah.
say, and had millions and millions and millions of users. You know, the old IRC chat channels had their special codes, and I don't know. It was a very functional system. It wasn't the best. It didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it was highly functional.
And it still is functional. It's just without a user interface.
Right, but I mean,
if you don't know how to
that's
code, you can't use it.
Well, but the thing is, like, it was functional, right? Like, so it's never stopped functioning. It's just about how do I put this? Like, if something functions, if something works, it works, and it still works. It's just not pretty. It's just all about functionality.
About.
Man, taking me back to the slightly post IBM card days, man.
Yeah, I still think that there's a hell of a lot of actual IRC users in the Imperium still.
Eric, what do you mean post IBM card days? There's still companies using those. You know that, right?
What?
Well, there's people who still use the mainframe. Really? People are still using card readers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where?
Okay.
I mean, Billy said
they
it.
don't want to say.
I mean, there's mainframes everywhere, but everybody, most people are using the video terminal to code on them.
Like, not gonna lie,
that.
there's a subset of people who use very, very old tech, basically because it's extremely secure, because it's not actually used by many people at all, and you can't generally tend to buy that kind of stuff easily.
No, it's more. I know a university here in Germany used the cards, handed them out to each student, for tracking various things, and just because they thought it's cool.
My dad
Actually, if I recall, there was an article about a hospital in France, I believe, which was going so old tech that their system had like one malfunction and it caused problems, but otherwise they were like one of the most secure.
Yeah, I mean, there's one way to,
because it was so old, right?
Well, take your tech offline. I mean, the only thing that the card reader is, it was just the mechanism of putting your code in.
Yeah.
Right. So and data. So there we got our shower pick, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you heard about, like, you get these kind of every so often you get these articles about people using super old tech and stuff like that. Like, you have like, say, Germany sort of I think like their spies started using, like, you can tell me whether this is right or absolute bullshit stuff, but like started using like typewriters to type messages out rather than actually, like, computers and stuff, because it was actually just generally more secure.
Not necessarily. It depends on what type of typewriter, because you can still use the ribbon if you pull up the ribbon of ink and determine what someone's written sometimes.
Yeah, but not if you take it out and burn it.
It's true.
No, I think the way Germany dealt with that was that you had to type a certain character at the end of every letter, like 20 times.
Specifically 20, or like
it was a specific number,
or
no, it was a specific number.
Rescue.
And then obviously you also had you also had the thing that George R.R. Martin would type up all of his stuff on like a super old Amstrad or something like that, right? Just because it was like more secure. It wasn't likely to be hacked in any way, shape, or form because it was just like completely, well, firstly just off the internet, but secondly also like super old tech as well.
I've frequented some of the 8-bit coder groups and stuff like that, and I can guarantee you there's still people around that know exactly how to hack pretty much every old system around.
But it's not only for security reasons. Some people, like especially writers, usually go for the thing that just feels right. Right? The typing experience itself.
Yeah, that's also true.
It can help your creative process. I know I can't type on my iPad the same way I can type in my computer for the stuff that I write. So I don't know why. Now, do we get to dig into the awful MER today?
We get what?
Sure.
That was a terrible MER.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of things.
A lot of things that hasn't seemed to have changed. Like I think were people expecting CCP to amend the whole kind of ISK faucet kind of thing issue, with the fact that like it shows a massive like slope down, whereas we basically postulated that it's nowhere near that bad because CCP seemed to have been either like maybe potentially forgetting about the fact that like it's not calculating the 20% that's in the siphoned off to the ESS,
to the new ESS program.
Yeah. So we were like, they're going, look guys, it's not as bad as you may think.
But
I have one for Willy about the MER. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there's this big jump in destruction numbers, like actual almost earthquake-like on the graph, the first one, right?
Is it towards the end of the month?
Yeah, like mid-December, like it explodes as if it's an earthquake thing on one of those. I was like, look, there's a war.
It only looks like it's mid-December because the numbers go into January or something.
Ah, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because CCP never published an MER without tracking their current numbers.
Problem with this MER, and it's something that I know I've pointed out to Dirk already. Is
this the missing days?
It's not the missing dates. It's the fact that the MER's numbers don't agree with the MER's numbers.
Oh, yes.
That's an issue.
That's been an issue since it started. Seriously.
No,
this one's fun.
This one's fun. If you go through the regional numbers, right? You add them up, and then you go through the produced, destroyed, mined spreadsheets numbers. They disagree by something like 20 trillion in destruction.
Hasn't it been like that since like ever?
Yeah. No, it's been like that forever. But like 20 trillion-ish discrepancy is significant, even for the
20 trillion out of like 53 trillion total.
Yeah, it's significant even for the way the MER just like misses things, like complete days.
I really kind of hope that Villy's taking a few notes about this, like to some degree, to talk.
No one cares about the MER script. No one knows how it works, and the guy that actually made it is no longer with CCP, so it's never going to get fixed.
I just want to point out that Ruvra has yelled about this at CCP.
Yes.
Like half a dozen times at least that I know about.
So no one's going to fix it.
It's never going to be fixed. It's never going to be fixed.
Nobody cares.
I am pretty sure Quant was still with CCP the last time, the first time she yelled at them.
Right. Brisk's in chat saying that there has to be a typo in the Delve number on the regional graph. It says 3 trillion killed, and that should be 23 trillion killed. Brisk seems to have, like, not comprehended that this is compiled by algorithm. Their algorithm is just this bad.
No,
It's
you
also
just
entirely
think.
possible that the
Just-
M2 fights just failed to register in their server properly.
No. You
Not
can
much
see,
worked well in M2.
you can see the impact in the payouts
Insurance
for
payout.
insurance.
Oh yeah, it went
At
woo.
least it's
Straight
the
up.
first M2 fight. The second isn't on there.
Well, that one
Like-
would be in January.
But if you do it
so-
by insurance payouts, the majority of the Ghost Titans got no insurance payouts, right?
But the Ghost
I
Titans
did-
are on January, so they're
the
not. on
Ghost
there
Titans
yet.
are in January. Like December's
Oh, yeah.
MER,
I don't know.
the fight on the 30th into the 31st. It's literally their algorithm is just this bad, and they haven't actually managed to ever comprehend this or even try and fix it. And this is just how the MER goes nowadays. Like it's a stalwart of
Things that are missing change every month, and not just the things that are missing in the current month. Okay, like you go back and you go, okay, so in November of 2020, and I'm just riffing here, I'm not actually pulling up specifics. The region of cache is missing. In December of 2020, cache shows up for the November numbers.
yeah.
And the missing days are not the same
And the
from
missing
MER to
the same.
MER. It's like, how's that even possible? Days that do not have data sets in one month's MER does not actually reoccur in the following. Then it's new days.
I don't
This
really
is
think it's being done
always the
with
case.
algorithm.
The days aren't missing. They have the data. They're just not checking it.
No, there's no data. There's days without.
like-
Wait a sec. Wait a
You
sec.
say there's no data, Caleb. There is obviously data because the missing days change every time the MER is republished. They have the data. They just aren't error checking it.
Someone in chat is saying
Details.
we have no idea how hard it is to manage a big game like this. But I gotta tell you, CCP Quant, when he was still
That's
at
actually
CCP.
hilarious. Right.
Wait.
No, Soth. Horrendous. How many people at last rough count did the Imperium have? Like, real people? It was
You can
somewhere
make
in
an
the region of, like,
estimate.
12 or 13,000.
I-
Last number I heard.
I would
Usually,
say-
it's your core number divided by 3 is the best rough easy guess.
I would have said
And-
about 10. But I usually only pay attention to Goons numbers. So
That's fair.
That's
Um,
understandable.
And we have, like, tracking for all of this bullshit, right? We do the whole taxes thing, we do the whole everything else thing, right?
activity,
Yeah?
which you have,
Yeah, we track this shit. We do the metrics. And Villy, I assume, as the only non-Imperium member here, really, Caleb, you don't count before you say anything.
Somehow people
Oh,
think
sure,
that I'm a spy in some way because I ended up on a photo with a bunch of test dudes in
But-
London.
Dude, like, that's just
Well
how it
played,
goes.
McLeod.
Yeah, they
you're an
kidnapped me.
in it, you're a spy, it's fine.
Cloud was
But
in
yeah,
Bastion.
Villy,
so,
you track your metrics, right? And you've
do.
got to be working on the same rough level of real people, right?
I think if I recall correctly, the ratio of players to accounts or players to characters in Imperium and in Test was very, very close.
Yeah,
Because
so
I remember we went over the data once.
So at this point, anybody in Twitch chat who's saying that we don't understand what it takes to comprehend man management and metric management at that level, dude,
Just to
you,
bring
you
in,
just don't understand what we're
It's-
dealing with on a daily basis.
it's a stupid comment, right? Because let's bring
But that's not
Eric in
true
on
either.
this, right? Because if you have a database that's supposed to store historical data, this should not vary from month to month. That
And it
just
should
does
not
not
be-
make any sense.
not be a huge management issue to tell it, okay, I need you, Mr. Computer here, this thing that runs on math, to take all of the destruction numbers in every system that you already track, add them up and give them to me. Thanks.
It's all in a database, guys. It's
And
all.
by
it's
the
all-
way-
so just so you guys know, Just to
Eric.
contradict, let me finish this one real quick, Sa. So just to contradict the person in chat, I absolutely know what Battle.net stores about their users and their games and everything. It's way more than CCP could ever imagine to do, and I know how they process it and how they use it. They run analytics against all this stuff. So if you're playing a Battle.net game, hey, they've got a ton and a lot more than CCP does, guys. Okay, go ahead, Soth. So we actually know. Some of us might actually know.
No, actually, real quick. We're getting comments in Twitch chat. CCP, we're right. CCP is wrong, incompetent, blah, blah, blah. We can make a better game. Nobody's saying we can make a better game. All we're saying is that we know that this thing actually comes out of an algorithm. It's an algorithm that CCP Quant made.
And they've
been running it every month since CCP Quant left. There are still issues in the algorithm. There are still errors in the algorithm, and nobody is bothered to look at it. That's all we're saying. Like they don't know what they have.
That's an issue of prioritization, though.
But the problem is they have looked at it. It's written in R. They've realised nobody knows how to read R and gone, what?
Well, that might actually be a more accurate description of the problem.
They probably actually.
You don't leave something like this as a service if no one is managing it. That's just unprofessional. Either you discontinue it, or you can let the player base actually have some sort of access to some of the same data sets, maybe with a month delay or whatever. But you can't have something that is not managed or maintained running that just gets worse and worse month after month after month, because it's it's reaching a point where it's almost a useless piece of information that
it's almost
really,
disinformation now.
It is, exactly. If
you look at the thing, it looks like there's no activity.
It doesn't show the actual data that we are expecting. It got holes. It is not updated with the new things and new features that are coming out. So it just becomes more and more unmanageable and useless. And it's sad because we kind of need this as some sort of content to do analytics and talk about what's happening with the game. So I really think that CCP should consider either opening up their data set or just plain out removing the MER, because it's becoming a joke.
Please, CCP, think of the talk shows. We need the content.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned this I know I mentioned this on Theta Thursdays just a few days ago. And, you're talking about how CCP need to either replace it or just generally, get rid of it.
Just hire someone that can do art. Job done. Simple.
But realistically, the way the MER works, when BTAC-R is no longer at its historical value and it's valued at current levels, something's fucked up in the historical data. We know what BTAC-R roughly cost in-game because it was memorialized by other gaming news websites, right? But BTAC-R, according to CCP's metrics, cost 400 billion at this point. At today's MER, the historical data shows that BTAC-R costs 400 billion. It was actually closer to 4 trillion, but the historical data doesn't reflect that. And so this is exactly it's a very obvious example of what Caleb is talking about. The historical data is not accurate. It's almost misinformation, as McLeod put it. And so what the fuck are we supposed to do with the MER nowadays?
So could it be the fact that it's pulling a bunch of prices for things now and then applying today's prices retrospectively to old things?
That's exactly what it's doing, and it's been doing it for a long time, and there are other issues like the missing days that are different missing days every month. It's just it's a weird thing.
I think I remember something about that. When they miss the days, there's a batch file that's not running to collect the data correctly that they want that ages off for that day. I think there's something in that, and I can't remember exactly what. And by the way, I'm going to create, I said Battle.net, it's Wargaming, that collects tons of data across all those games.
if you want to put this in a historical perspective, because people in chat are still talking as if we don't really have any history and haven't actually done this for a while. I believe that our first complaints were brought up with Quant at FanFest in 17. I'm pretty sure that was when Dave was there as well.
Earlier than 17.
I'm pretty sure Quant was gone by 17, wasn't he?
No,
I'm pretty sure it would have been 15.
No. So, Quant was still there 17. The point is,
He was gone by 18.
Yeah, and this goes all the way back to Dr. Aok actually promised that the data sets would become available for the public for actual use, so we could do the stuff that then Quant ended up doing instead on our behalf, right? So releasing the data is something that they should really seriously start considering again, because just from a scientific, well, when academics actually showed an interest in Eve point of view, this is actually valid. This is valuable. Because if you want to start looking at Eve and how Eve works in its minutiae from an academic point of view, and I know that there's plenty of Eve players that want to do this as well, of course, both for strategic interest. But
talk about yourself.
But the point is that
there's loads of others.
These numbers are interesting.
I know, but like Caleb wants to do it too.
They can be used both for economics, for anthropology and sociology, and all of these things. How do things like movements of memberships in alliances and organizations work in Eve? All of these data sets are valuable, but as long as they're just still in this vault where we only have access to it through a tool coded in R that no one knows how to actually figure out how to fix, it's just dumb.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And I think it's symptomatic that, okay, we can end up talking about the dead horse and talk about scarcity and economics and ecosystems. But that aside, I think it's symptomatic that the academics are showing less and less interest in EVE Online. They used to be very interested in it. And this is just one little bit of why they have dropped EVE Online. Because if you don't have access to the data, if you have to go through a ton of hoops to actually get access, you're not going to do it. And if the ecosystem is broken and you're pretty much flatlining and the development is not moving in a direction that has interest for academics.
Well, I mean, there's actually a further question here, Caleb. You know, if the MER is so broken, if the data that they are presenting to the player base is so broken, and it's this kind of data that CCP are working on, this obviously, very obviously broken data is what CCP are working on, how the fuck do we know that they're actually working on the economy in a positive manner anyway? If they're working on bad data, then bad outcomes.
I don't know if Billy can answer anything like that, but
we can't, but it's a question.
Do you guys get to see anything?
I don't know. I find the whole discussion around the MER to be circular and wasteful. We know the MER doesn't work. We know that it's not a perfect tool. We know that people want more data but are not going to be given more data. We know that the prioritization that the MER is given is basically zero. All these things are known, and you can complain about them over and over and over again. But the reality is almost nothing is going to change because the very vocal minority, and it is an insanely small minority of people that want this thing, just don't represent, how would I say this, a group of players that CCP feels they need to
they don't represent
cause that
a return
prioritization
on investment.
Yeah, the return on investment to do this is basically zero, and CCP knows that, and they have no real desire to,
like
give
they did
players
it with the
new tools
tournament.
that they can exploit, even if the case is going to be made that data is just data. Information is power, and what you're doing is giving people who play the game in a certain way another tool up on other people, right? And it's a tricky game of trying to balance and create an even and fair sandbox that CCP plays. And in the end, I feel like this whole argument is just, every time I've heard it, it's always the same, and every time I hear it, I know I'm going to hear it in a month or the next month too, because nothing's going to change about it.
Okay, but let's take a slight step to the side on that. Not looking at who wants this data, what can the data be used for? Just as a simple principle, should CCP be handing data out to players and saying this is the right data when they know it's wrong?
They don't necessarily know it's wrong.
Sure
And
they do.
as much as
There are
statements,
Saying
They've
data,
been told time and again.
it's obviously wrong.
what is obviously wrong? Sorry.
The numbers don't add up.
If you're putting out your
What
numbers for
is
cash, and
what is
your numbers
purely wrong?
what is wrong? If they're saying this is the accurate number and that number is not accurate, that is wrong.
How do you know the number's not accurate?
It's
When
pretty
there's an
easy.
entire region missing from a month,
Okay, that's not necessarily wrong. That's something that was missed.
No.
Let's talk specifically. Orendus, you pointed out earlier that the numbers for December in the MER do not agree with the numbers for December in the MER.
Let's put it this
That's
way.
wrong.
Region-
One of those numbers is going to be wrong.
5.25 trillion. Produced destroyed mine CSVs adds up to 52.799 trillion. The MER tells me the MER is lying to me.
Or the data is not being conglomerated in a way that
That's
necessarily-
still wrong.
true. But
Yeah.
it's like
It's been
Let's put it
been
this
wrong.
way,
It's been
guys.
brought to attention time and time again. If they don't know it's wrong, it's because they're intentionally lying to themselves. They're telling themselves it can't be wrong, and it is wrong. It's been demonstrated that it's wrong.
Well, what's scary is, okay,
Telling us this is right, is that something they should do?
let's put it this way. If they're missing days, if they're missing regions, if they're missing data, and they're not looking at data consistency, and they're using this data internally to say changes we made in the game are great, guess what?
Eric, that's a totally separate issue. Should CCP be misrepresenting the data to their players?
I think they misrepresent the data to themselves and don't even understand their own game data.
They don't pay
Even-
themselves.
Even a different question. The question is just, should CCP be providing data that they know is either wrong or misrepresented? Like,
Telling us it's right.
so I can
Let's
I
put
can
this
take a
way, guys.
wild guess working with CCP how this is like this works.
Mhm.
Hey
Yeah,
guys, we need to do next month's MER. Okay. How much time do we want to invest in this? A couple hours from Jim. Okay. Jim,
That's,
go do the MER.
that's not
Okay.
the how they're generating it isn't the issue.
Guess what, guys?
If it's consistently coming up wrong, and it
Do
can
you want the MER?
I don't care about the MER. I care about whether or not CCP is feeding me bullshit.
Okay, well they're feeding you bullshit if that is your concern, in the regard that CCP has a choice. They can either do no MER or they can continue to do the MER they're doing.
Okay, but
Oh,
if the choice is, do we get no
Do I
MER,
want to pay these
or
people
do we
to lie to
get...
me or not? What should I?
I hate to present it like that binary choice that it like this, but like in all reality,
fine.
it
I
probably
would
is a
prefer-
binary choice.
I would prefer no MER.
this is literally the question.
You say that, right?
were-
But many people like the
My question to you isn't about
spurn
what
that they would receive if they gave no MER would be much higher.
The spurn
Not
they
the
receive when
No,
they
it
do
wouldn't.
anything is
Guys,
just
you gotta calm
crap.
down, right?
No.
This
Billy?
is,
Hang on.
this is just data, guys, and it's data. If the data in the system is consistent, which in order for CCP's game to function, it should be consistent. There shouldn't be, hey, who's gonna run the MER and create it this month? The damn thing should be automated. Most data systems and stats that are consistent are all automated, folks. This is what I do. Okay,
Automated.
so
Who's gonna push the button that runs the R script? That's all it is.
there's
And
there's
it's-
no need to run in the ARM script and push the goddamn button.
No, Eric. This
Most
is the
of their
thing, like,
code,
somebody.
most of their
Eric,
game code is already embedded in the database, which is a fucking insane bad thing to do anyway. Put your business logic in the database. In the last telecast that they had on their Twitch TV, they said still a large majority of that data is still there. I'm like, what the hell are you people thinking? These are people who don't understand how to manage data at all. If this is what they're doing.
Eric,
we bring up the point about how ages ago in EVE Online they had market experts and all these experts consulting on the healthiness of EVE Online? Oh, I'm sorry. I joined the party late, but hello.
You're talking about the academics and everything,
but whatever happened to that? I mean, if CCP is going to change our entire economy, why not bring on some experts and say, should we do this? Is this going to ruin the entire econ of our game?
They tried
as much as about the Dr. Eork reference, because in many ways, yes, he was a better economist, but he was not necessarily a better economist for the game at that point. I would almost say that Quant did more work that benefited the player base than Dr. Eork did.
Yeah, don't get me started on Quant.
So one of the lessons that CCP has actually learned, in my opinion, that's been really good, is to stop hiring extra staff that don't produce functional product. I don't know how to put this properly, but like one of the biggest problems with CCP 5 or 10 years ago is their focus was on creating other games, and like they realized they thought the gravy train was infinite and that they were going to get to do whatever they wanted forever. And obviously things started going south around 2015, and they realized that hey, maybe we need to focus on our game now, and that's what we've had in the last 2-3 years. They've really started turning around and focusing entirely on EVE, which has been a huge boon to the actual success of EVE. Instead of being like, oh, let's focus on this microcosm, which is kind of interesting, let's instead focus on the game and the quality and the balance and the features and all those things. So I would prefer if they didn't relearn the bad lessons and say, oh, let's hire like 2 more economists instead of 2 more programmers.
But the programmers are going to be shit.
So what you see?
No. The programmers that like work at CCP are not shit. Like
the actual programmers they have, but like when you're sitting there in that type of situation, when you're like, do I want to hire someone who is going to try and work?
No, Mifune, you don't get to make that argument. Like the programmers are executing the direction that the company wants to go in. That's how that works.
I'm actually going to hit you guys from a strict business approach
don't
here
shit on the
gaming, right? So when you look at the gaming companies right now that are huge successes, okay, they have data scientists on staff that actually understand how to generate the proper statistics about their games. They're collecting data on their gamers. They're experts in data science. They are then taking this information and they're enhancing their game by understanding in a real way and using proper statistics what their player base is like, what their player base tendencies are, and what the true reactions are inside of the game that the players are interacting with, what is really working and what really isn't. So to say that CCP shouldn't perhaps have this as a dedicated arm of the company to be successful is foolish, because I'm going to tell you 100% in the gaming industry, they're doing this. And the games that are successful are the ones that are doing it the best.
The difference is CCP is not EA. CCP is not, Ubisoft, right? Like CCP comparatively is a very small gaming company.
Well, and they're owned by a bigger gaming company that is probably doing this.
Unquestionably true that we have seen that many of the small gaming companies all around the world, and including some of the larger ones, have been tightening their belt to a degree that does not necessarily allow for, the luxuries of having, economists and all these other things on their staff.
I'm not saying economists.
I'm not going to get into the argument of whether they should. Yeah, I'm sure these aren't the best gaming examples of gaming companies, but I also don't think that there's necessarily, heavy evidence that many other gaming companies are sitting there with, economists whose sole job.
I understand, Billy.
EVE Online.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me finish. Villy, I didn't say bring on economists in this. I said bring on people who actually understand what's going on. You don't need 20 people, right? But you do need 1 or 2 people that understand this. And this is a business thing. This isn't a game thing, right? If you
right,
and
it's important for me. It's important for you to understand. CCP, like I can't say whether CCP is already to a degree doing this. I'm pretty sure.
Philly, maybe we'll have an offline on what I actually do.
Sure.
Okay.
Like I'm not tracking what you necessarily do or don't do. But what I'm trying to say is that an economist whose sole job is to look at the economy in EVE does not necessarily equate to a data analyst, analyzing, CCP's early player retention and those things. Because I can tell you CCP's focus as a company for the last couple of years has been about early retention, has been about, new player engagement,
and they fail miserably compared to everybody else. Again,
they may fail miserably, but they are putting every bit of effort and trying to improve.
Yeah, they're really not going about it the way the rest of the industry is.
Eric,
I can tell you.
Like they might not be going about it the way the rest of the industry is, and I'm not gonna comment on whether they are or aren't, but they are putting a bunch of effort into their newer player retention. We know this. They were talking about this at every fucking real life meetup going in 2019. I think I saw that presentation 4 times about how they were doing new player retention focused.
I think I've seen it 100 times over the last 16 years.
At the same point, we were getting whacked with Blackout, and we were then getting whacked with this or that, and
But seriously, guys,
this
the
is
older
the
player
business side.
retention is
you can push the whole rope guy that just tries to get more people through the door, right? But if the bartender sucks and the DJ sucks, you're not going to get more customers. And this is the whole problem with this, is that I feel like they've lost perspective. And when Willie was mentioning the fact that they want productive guys, that's like in business talk, we want people that can get more sales. Yeah, but if the product sucks, it doesn't help you, right? You can have as many masons as you like. If your architect is no longer there or sucks, your house is going to fall apart. So this is about the fact that I don't think CCP remembers or realize what kind of game they have. It is not just brick and mortar and tinkering with code or making new shiny ships. It's also making this whole eco thing and this whole environment with thousands and thousands of players actually work on a macroeconomic level and macro game level. And it's just, they've lost the plot on that.
Legitimately, the long-term player base of EVE Online is collectively experiencing a whole amount of sunk cost fallacy right now, because there's no real focus on the. We get these balance changes and they're cool, and I love Team Talos and the teams like them that deliver these regular balance updates, but collectively there's no real focus on the long-term player base in nullsec. There's no real focus on EVE Online's mission system, which has been broken for years. There's no
Dirk,
real...
I want to stop you right now and just say, I can't tell you what I know, but you are patently wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do, Billy. I hope I'm wrong, because otherwise we're all just sat here playing the game that we play because we have the communities that we have, and that have been built over however many years, and we're just waiting for something. We're not sure what we're waiting for, but we're waiting for something.
But the NPE and the player retention thing is a fun topic, right? Because when they showed the numbers and when they talked about these things, right, everyone that had knowledge from the rest of the gaming industry said that's pretty much similar to every other game. But still, CCP decided to spend what? Was it 20 or 25% of all their hours on trying to improve something that was pretty much similar to the rest of the gaming industry standard? It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to change something?
They said 20% late 2018, and we have no data on whether or not they've stuck with that 20% or if they've cut it down. I mean, Billy won't be able to tell us either, but we have no data to compare it to beyond when they said it at the time.
But the important
which was
point
a
is
couple
that
of years ago.
other games have similar player retention issues, and it's because of phenomena that is not something you can improve upon, because it's who downloads, who clicks, who tries a game for a few hours, who tries a game that they haven't really figured out that it's not really for them. It's like it's a sociological problem that they can't resolve. Maybe if they
they can.
There might be a solution, but I think it's in marketing. It's not in NPE changes.
No, I think you're absolutely wrong there, Caleb. And CCP even presented how to change it themselves. They showed us the data, and they said, hey, look, if people join a player-run corporation, the retention rate skyrockets.
They did say that outright many times at every 2019 live player event they did. They said that.
Then why don't you shove it in new players' face to join a player-run corporation? It used to be in the new player experience.
Because bias.
It used to be in
stuff.
that. Now they don't
They-
even mention player-run corporations.
No, Seth, they can't shove people at Brave. They can't shove people at Horde. They can't shove people at Karma Fleet. They can't shove people at
Taster.
Dreadit. You know, whichever
important thing to
new
understand about
player
this-
corporation. They can't do it without being accused of some bias from some
Well,
aspect,
bias isn't
so
the
they
big
choose
thing.
to not do it at all.
Bias isn't the big thing. These are corporations they don't control. What if a new player joins one of these corporations and the first thing that happens is the CEO scams them, or some terribly inappropriate stuff happens in that corporation? CCP pointed those players at that corporation. They are now somewhat liable for those decisions, right? Like
I
but
want to
what
point out
CCP
that
can
no
do-
corporation that I named, no suggestion that I gave there was a non-known factor. Like, these are entities that have been in the game for years. They've been stable for years. It's not as if
I'm
throwing
okay
people
with
their
the,
way
But-
would be a crazy thing. Like,
But CCP doesn't control those groups, so
I
they
get
could
that,
get
but
scammed. They could get,
it's a factor. It's a risk
harassed
factor.
or
But
you
then
know,
are you
so-
also saying that the only way you can get new players pushed towards your corporation is to be an existing 5-year corporation? Like, the problem with, trying for CCP pushing players to specific corporations is the liability of doing so, the bias of doing so, the tendency to further concentrate all the power in a small group of corporations because
it
they're
is a
more
concern.
established.
But that's
But
not
they're
what I
choosing
said.
right. Like, either pushing players towards player corporations, even the established ones, is an action. Specifically, choosing not to do anything regarding player corporations, even when they know it is a positive aspect, is also a chosen course of action. Inaction is not like just going hands off and saying, "Hey, have fun." Inaction is saying, "I'm not going to interfere." And it is an action that you choose to take.
Well,
CCP can just make a good recruitment tool and push them
to point
back.
out something to Billy, right? If they had spent maybe just a fraction of the man hours on improving something like the UI and search functions in the game, when it comes to something like corporations, who are the corporations that you can actually join? What's the process and the procedure of actually joining? How can you quit corporation? All these functionalities, right, are still 15-year-old code, and they are horrible.
So it's almost like they need to hire more, coders and developers.
No,
and
what we're
programmers, right?
saying, instead of making the MPE fancier and explain things in a different way, they should have taken some of that time and improved the one thing that they said themselves matters. It's
Secret
the
priorities.
corporation finder and how it functions, so that people actually have a chance to find a corporation that fits them using the corporation finder. Because right now it's utterly useless.
Yeah, and it should be in the agency, and it should also give information of activities that are considered known, like who's at war with who, and who has what kind of history, and who runs these organizations. So you could have something like organizational trees where you can see the structure, who's the head of test, who's the head of the Imperium, stuff
I
like
mean,
that. Information
who
that
is
you
the
would
head of
want.
TES? Does anybody know right now?
Well, no, but the point is, you want that type of information in a corporation finder. If you want to know where to join, you want to know what are their specialty, what do they do, what have they done historically, who is in there, are there anyone that are known in the famous people of Eve, stuff like that. But
so Caleb, what you're asking,
it's still the same functionality that was there when I started the game 17 years ago.
The in-game tools for finding other players is in general crap.
Are you suggesting like a in-game wiki, like Eve wiki, but
Oh, let's not talk about an Eve wiki, because the fact that that was cancelled was the biggest mistake ever, because it was again one of those horrible examples of CCP removing something when they had just finished creating the prerequisite to actually get it to work, right? When they got the the single sign-on thing working, so everything was pretty much very easy. If they had linked those two things together, so anyone editing and adding to the wiki would be directly trackable on an ID level, on an account level, then you could always just open and close and control who can actually add to this thing. It's just CCP keeps doing this, where they change something and fix something, and then they lose something that would have worked now that things have been upgraded.
Oh, let me just be clear on one thing, because this is conversation's gone in a circle for a long time. You guys have said CCP should do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and also they should also do this too. The reality is, and I hate to be put in a position where I'm sitting here being the one having to defend CCP, but they are, a quote-unquote smaller-ish gaming company, and they're doing their best. As much as I know they're not doing everything you want them to do, they are trying their best, and they've made a ton of errors over the years. They know it. I can assure you they know it. We know it, and I can assure you they know we know it.
But really, these two examples, right?
The thing is, you say they're not learning from it, but I can assure you they are learning from it.
Let me some evidence of that. Can I just reply to this? The two examples that we brought up, right, was exactly things where we would actually end up saving CCP money and dev hours, right? If suddenly you could crowdsource all the wiki entry stuff and all the information stuff to actually be done by the player base itself with a few volunteers to moderate it, and if you could streamline the whole procedure of getting a new player into organizations or choose his actual direction in the game, all of these things would save CCP money.
My God, Sothersil, he's just talked about the whole tournament-facing aspect of CCP without ever once referencing EVE Online tournaments. How has he done that? Just give it to the players is their entire attitude for the last 5 years.
But Billy, since you're acting CCP defender right now, even though you hate to be, we're forcing
because it's a shitty job.
The main reason I'm probably the one defending CCP is because I've actually spent time in their boardrooms and talked to them and seen the self-recrimination, I guess you could say. The fact that they know that they failed in so many different ways at times, but also the desire to improve and do better. I hate to put it like this, but as a CSM, it's put me in a position where I Caleb's like, oh, they need to do this and this and this. And I'm like, well, maybe they are already doing this, but I can't say anything, right? Just because you don't have the finished product doesn't mean they don't know that these things are a problem and they're not working on them, right? It's just.
Let me ask you this: we're surrounded this topic of CCP being a small company and everything that we all understand.
They're getting there.
They're getting there.
I'm going to argue against that, right? They are owned by a much larger company. They are owned by a much larger company, and it's and they have tools and things at their disposal.
So I think personally, on that type of issue, we need to hire more coders, we need to hire more programmers, and we can't get them, or when we get them, they're not the best, and we're working with 15-year-old code, this and that, all that fun stuff. I think one of the issues lies with where they're located. You look at Iceland, and Iceland's a beautiful place. I've personally never been, but it's a beautiful fucking place. But I think as far as the gaming industry goes, Iceland isn't too great.
It's an old argument.
Let's put it this way.
Like, it's
So,
an old argument.
CCP should now move out of Iceland. That's what you're saying.
CCP are like
Well-
a multinational company. They have offices in Iceland, they have offices in London, they have offices in Amsterdam, they have offices in
Right.
Shanghai. You know, there are never mind the people who like work from home in the US or whatever. Like they're a multinational company at this point.
Oh, but to that effect,
That-
right?
could
they
they
used
have
they
moved
used to
at
have
one point?
they used to have
Sure.
the same thing that many companies had,
But-
that remote work was not an option. I think 2020 has changed that.
Mhm.
But either way, right? The point is that it doesn't matter where you're based, realistically, as long as you can attract the kind of talent that you want. And if CCP are attracting the kind of talent that they want, based out of Reykjavik, that's fair enough. There's also another factor that that Mifune, who has just disappeared, seems to have missed.
He's going in and out. Don't worry about it.
Which is that actually, when it comes to being a relatively large company in Iceland, that gets you a lot of pull. It gets you a lot of, consideration when it comes to governmental decisions, when it comes to just generally like business market kind of decisions. And that's not something that CCP could move out of Iceland and reasonably expect to
Keep.
keep in Iceland, but also reassemble in another nation. And so there's definitely an opportunity cost to CCP moving out of Iceland at that point.
Well,
I mean, they only just made custom built a brand new headquarters in Iceland.
Yeah, that too.
Only very
Really,
recently.
really close to the Reykjavik University. Like that's I've seen some pictures on like Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with them
somewhere, and it's a
leaving or
really
moving
cool
is-
facility.
is out of the question
Yeah,
at this
it really
point.
comes down to this, right? And this is really the crux of the conversation for me. If you demonstrate that you can't understand your own mere data, which you clearly use some to make business decisions on the health of the game, are not consistent and correct, okay, you have a fundamental problem that you need to correct. And they have demonstrated over the decades that they can't correct this. If they can't present that data correctly, whatever they're using to decision internally, statistic data, can't be right either. Because if you're not spending the time on that and you clearly use that economic data to make business decisions, because they reference it all the time, they need to step back, understand what their priorities are, so that they can get to where they want to be. That's their biggest mistake. Their priorities are never consistent. Their priorities change every 30 days. And you can't run a business like that.
That's part and parcel
Yeah.
of the agile development cycle, right?
Well, no, I mean, you can still have directive in agile development. It's the business priorities that they've got to focus in on, right?
In the time I've been on the CSM with CCP, their priorities and their direction has not changed at all, basically. And it's been actually more long-term focused than I think even they are happy with at times.
Yeah,
They've
so-
set themselves long-term goals, and they're working towards those goals continually.
So as somebody who looks at technology and technology goals and long-term business goals and how technology supports those businesses, right? I don't see that.
That's entirely understandable, because I could see how that is true.
They very clearly. I mean, and it starts with the fundamentals, the technology fundamentals. I don't see it there, right? So I watch their latest technology video on what they're doing and how their system is internally designed. And as a technologist, I have a lot of concerns there, right? When I look at what they're doing with their statistical data and their analytics, they are basing business decisions on fundamentally flawed processes. And if they know that and they haven't fixed that in 16 or 17 or 18 years, right, working on their second decade, they're not setting themselves up for success. They're just setting themselves up to fail more. I mean, this is. I mean, Billy, more. This is. I mean,
there was.
I look at technology, and I look at technology direction, right? And Billy, you're at somewhat of a, and so is the audience because I have to be somewhat vague. However, McLeod and some of the other ones, they know what I do, and how I do it, and the levels that I operate in certain companies. So. Yeah, they're really challenged. And yes, I work in companies that are exponentially larger than CCP, and I understand that. But even companies that are smaller, there's ways to do this, and CCP is the focus.
Yeah, there's a degree of assumptions that go on with like how we can understand, you know, how CCP is kind of like making business decisions and whether they're basing those what they're basing those business decisions on, right? Yeah. We can only postulate and go on what they've said as to what they're basing their business decisions on. So I mean it's basically this is the conclusions that we have derived from what we're able to see. If it's flawed or erred in some way, we would love to be told that that is the case, because that would at least allow us a degree of
I believe
of
CCP,
being able to go.
Yeah, sorry,
you know, not everything is how it seems. Yeah. But at the moment, we haven't had that. Like, and at the moment, like the only data available there, and you know that we can go on, and some assumptions that we can go on. This is the conclusion to that data and those assumptions.
What we're actually saying here, at the end of the day, McLeod, and you've just said this, but I want to say it in a very clear manner, is that we would love to have more communication from CCP. There was an era where we had a bunch of communication from CCP. That era is kind of gone. We've seen some of it come back with the additions of CCP Convict and CCP Aurora specifically, to give them a shout out. But, you know, there was an era where the community team at CCP was far larger than it is now. And we had a lot of conversations and we had a lot of information flow back and forth. And we would love to... I think a fair number of us on this show will remember that fondly and kind of want to get back to that, which is the basis for a lot of our commentary and concerns. Yeah. We're not seeing that same level of back and forth that we had from CCP at one point. But yeah, we'd love to see more definitive communication from CCP. That's the bottom line.
And all the summer child comments in chat that assumes that people in here have no clue what we're talking about and haven't.
How long have all of you been playing?
I laughed at that really long one, that wall of text that I have no idea.
It's just tickish, right? And then grabbing on to Vili. Vili practically would agree with many of the things that we're talking about, but he's in a position where he can't disclose many of the things that he might be able to contradict some of the things we've said, right? But fundamentally, everything we said is something that I'm pretty sure I heard Vili talk and say before he became a CSM member.
It's also
there's more nuance to all of these points, and there's pieces where it's like, you know, for example, you know, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, nobody would have said CCP was doing anything with new player retention. And it's very clear now, because they've communicated about it, that they are doing something. It hasn't come at the speed people want it, and that's unfortunate, but they are trying, right? And it's a very delicate, I don't know, I'm in a position where I can't say everything I think I know that CCP is doing, and I can't talk about people and their drive and their direction that they're providing and all the rest. I think that in the end, CCP can always do better. They can do better communication-wise. They can do better development-wise. They know this. We know this.
Are you guys getting spicy over there, by the way?
Where?
I think the point I was trying to make is that
the actual
I
game.
think
Nobody cares.
it's a discussion about priorities, right? And
I do.
I know that we were all pretty happy about them looking at the NPE and player retention. It's just that a lot of us at that point said that's a lot of money and effort to throw at a problem that is, I would say, a niche that's not going to resolve anything, right? It might bring in some fresh blood, but in EVE, the whole thing of new players versus old players and player retention and exchange of generations is so different from other games. I think the only game I can really point to out there where you have something remotely like it would be something like World of Warcraft, right? Every other game of the age that CCP's product is gone or dead or not really, only on massive maintenance mode, right? So you can't compare yourself with a lot of the rest of the industry, which is why I think it's a problem that CCP keeps having these fits where they look at other companies for ideas. I don't think that they should do that so much. I think they should consider looking at their own product as what it is, completely unique in the industry. There is nothing out there like it.
I mean, I do want to address real
now?
quick as well the comment that somebody made, I don't remember who it was, about how long have people been playing this game. And that's a really interesting piece of commentary, given the names in the channel and how long people have been playing. Because I had a conversation with a couple of CSM members at Amsterdam 2019, where actually I was told that CCP by and large consider a veteran player to have been playing for a year to a year and a half before they consider them a veteran player. And this is in the middle of the whole, like, how long have people been playing? What type of player are they? This is the middle of, like, the CCP Ghost analysis of our player base era. So, you know, we're looking at Villy, who's been playing for God knows however long. Caleb, who's been here, he's already mentioned on this show that he's been here for 17 years. Sothrasil's been here for, at least 10. I've been around for 6 or 7, I forget.
13.
Eric, 13, there we go. Eric's been a fucking name in
generalizing the people that are on these talk shows to the average EVE player is not.
It is not.
No.
It's exactly. This is my point. I think Dawn is probably the youngest EVE player here, and even Dawn's been around for what, a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Since
we've
late
long
16.
surpassed the veteran point and probably moved into the bitter vet era. But
I was gonna say, like, Mifune left the channel, so like all our averages went up.
Yeah, the average went up.
So at that point, we are talking about long-term trends rather than just like,
yeah.
You know, we joined 6 months ago and CCP's been driving the economy into the ground. It's long-term trends. This is my point that I made earlier on about communication. We remember an era where things at least seemed better from a communication standpoint, and because that communication has gone, so is a lot of our understanding of where CCP are at.
So, to give you guys a bit of insight here, as someone who has organized tournaments for quite a while now, I can tell you that communication has
coming back to it after 4 years.
Yes. Communication has been better, and communication has been much worse before. So I can see Villy's point. They are definitely trying. Some things seem to be working out, and other things seem to be not working out so great, right? So the problem I have here is that, again, we are here and we have to trust in CCP to do the right thing. And I personally have been burned trusting CCP to do the right thing.
Let's give it this way. CCP is not always going to do the right thing and make the right decision. No company is, right? But every decision comes down to, from a technology perspective, to what is the value to the business, right? So what are CCP's priorities, and how do they get the data on their customers and what's happening in the game that is correct in order to make those decisions better? That's what CCP is missing, and that is the trend in the industry, and that is absolutely what every gaming company is doing, even the small ones. They're doing it. And if CCP's not, then they need to. But the fact that they can't get their data on the economy right tells you that they don't have a concentration there, because they need to be using that very same information internally to understand what's going on in the game. You can't deny it.
Eric, you have been pointing some of these things out for a long while, and I'm pretty sure that I have as well. One of the things that CCP has historically been really bad at is actually figuring out a good monetization model. You can then say, well, they've been doing pretty well. Yeah, but their monetization philosophy has been really weirdly upside down. And
where the
No,
fuck?
I'm calling bullshit on that. CCP was ahead of the curve on monetization, and we pushed them back into the fucking Stone Age. And now they're starting to get their shit together.
I'm not convinced. Like, watches made in Iceland shipped through North America to come to Europe. Like, and
floating mix instead of keychains. It's like, come on, guys.
Where are my
I think that's
Eve ship models that I can build myself and paint myself? Like, let me have a Rifter that has a hand painted skin. Where is that shit? Like, these are basic. We've been telling CCP for years about shit that we would throw money at them for. Literally,
and what I was talking about really was not necessarily that they were ahead of the curve in 2009. They've just not continued moving forward. They've actually, and we might have pushed them back. Yeah, I agree. But they also had a backwards way of looking at how you monetize a game as unique as EVE Online, because they need to start looking at, I'd almost call it the George Lucas model. They need to start looking at that. That's where their fat cat is. That's where all the big money is.
Their fat cat?
I think he means cash cow.
Yeah, I do want to say
cat and calf.
I do want to say Brisk brought up a very good point in Twitch chat that I should say live on air. Talking about like models that you can paint yourself and everything, that's not direct product monetization, that's merchandising, and either way it's an income source that CCP could do far better on, because we've been telling them for years how they could do that. But it is not monetization; it is merchandising, and so I was,
But licensing and monetize and merchandise is where there is a lot more money to grab, especially when your game is semi-saturated. You can look at EVE and try and expand the segments of player base that you want in the game. Of course you can, but the way that the game is made and the way the game works, it should peak out and max out at what I would say maybe something like 100,000 PCU. That's it. That you can never get it higher than that. And that's why I disagree with someone like Eric. I think they need to product develop. I think they need to get more secondary products. I think they need more things like Dust, like Gunjack, like Valkyrie, because this is where their money is. They need to build the universe. They need to build the brand. And when the brand is valuable enough and has enough different players, then merchandise and licensing is going to make them a fuck ton of money.
Caleb, I've been waiting for a CCP developed first-person shooter game for 5 years now.
Yeah,
like,
and instead,
I was on
but
board
they always
with...
want to. But they always want to develop it internally rather than get an external team out that knows and understands and has done. FPSs before. They they feel like they need to do it internally.
Didn't they just announce that they're working with somebody to make a first-person shooter?
With Project whatever happened before Project Legacy, which was then cancelled, and now they're developing a new one. And I've been waiting for this CCP first-person shooter for years.
Hey guys,
and I want it, and I'll pay for it. And like,
but the point is that they keep having this ambition level that I think is a little bit of a mistake. They keep doing the Monocle stuff. They keep doing the floating Nyx stuff. They keep going, oh, we're going to make the best shooter ever, or the best third-person action RPG. It's like, no. Of course, you should make one of those, right? Maybe one or two. But you should make a fuck ton of what I'm almost inclined to say pump and dump mediocre games, right? Because that's fine as long as they make money. This is what they are bad at, making money. It's the keychains that makes you the money. It's even NetEase games that will make you money. Come on, guys, you can make money and still be true to the original core. If we have one floating Nyx and one EVE Online and one Dust, then you can make a ton of cash cows on top of that we try and say this is a failure, this sucks, but as long as CCP got their money, who cares?
All right, on a different note, when did they change fucking Titan skill books to cost fucking $6 billion instead of $4.5?
Ages ago,
a year and a half ago.
When they did the whole like direct injection skill book thing.
Because I've got to evacuate a fucking Titan from the Baskrin Keepstar now, and apparently it costs $6 billion to buy a fucking Titan skill book to.
Yeah, like when they
try buying it off the character sheet.
Direct...
It's like $7.5.
Yeah, the whole direct injection added.
That was the best like instinct they've added.
Let's dig into this. You have to evacuate a Titan from a Bastion Keepstar.
Bascarin.
Bascarin.
Okay.
Because Snuffed is being uppity, and no one's stopping them because everyone's so.
Let's be blunt about this.
Yeah.
Snuff is being
Billy.
Dicks.
Billy.
Snuff is being.
Why are you not working with us on this snuffed out bullshit?
Yeah, do we just
beating our
back to
that
like
is dead? Like,
I'll tell you what, actually, if you guys want to go,
we can fight in Delph, but you know,
no. Listen, guys, you guys want to pull down the camp? We'll all head back together.
No.
I see what you did there. Good try.
Hey, well, you know, we're just getting offers on the table. Everybody,
guys, he has a point there. Let's all just go back to like 2015. Let's all unpack our Macarials and go on a war with Losec.
Oh, dude, like fucking, let's bring back yachts and let's go. I'm down. I want yachts back.
Honest truth, if 6 Empire wanted to sell it to me for like $100 bill and I could convince enough to leave it alive, I probably would. With like TTT and because I actually had somebody suggest I drop another Losec Keepstar in Alionar and then connect all 3 of the Losec Keepstars together, so that there would be like this 4 Keepstar chain in the middle of Losec that's all.
Like Sixth Empire just aren't backing down on it. They
I know, but they're gonna lose, obviously, right?
They want to go down with their ship, and that's unfortunate. But either way, Snuffed are being absolute dicks about this. Like Sixth Empire.
Until someone.
Well, how are they being absolute dicks? They're the big dog. It's their fucking sandbox in Losec. They get to make the decisions, right?
I mean, Snuffed.
Well, it's a perspective,
like,
right?
Good guys,
like
right?
Losec has to have Losec has to have a bad guy, and Snuff knows that that's their MO, right?
They don't have to be the bad guy. They enjoy being the bad guy.
Exactly.
Let's talk here. High Wanto, Vertisio, and other people that I don't know are in there, and that's what they love to do. They love to be the troll, the jerks, the people that make you go,
it's not like you're gonna have me being the one that's here to defend High Wanto. Okay?
Oh yeah, that's what we're going for. See, we're just trying to.
But they're welcome to do it. That's the point. That's the point of the game, is that you get to be the bad guy if you want to be, or you get to try to be the good guy, or you get to be this ambiguous thing in between.
And
there's
you know what?
The bad guy, and then there's hitting people who are just trying to do right by others. And
here's the important thing to understand. So I run the Ignite and Keepstar, right? With the TTT, which is protected on paper by the block alliances that support the area, but I never would have dropped that Keepstar without agreements from the local Losec groups that live there about keeping it alive, because otherwise I know it's just not possible. It's Losec, or especially central and northwest central Losec, is Snuff's home, and if you want to have stuff in their space, and Sing Liaison is effectively within their space, you do have to respect their ability to make the decisions of who gets to live there and who doesn't, right? And
Yeah.
I know the Basker and Keep Stars have been down there for a long time, but that doesn't mean you get to just have it there for free. Like I hate to put it like that.
Yeah, I look at it this way,
that's
right?
understandable.
I look at it from an organization point of view and what that organization does to the community, and that's how I'll do my assessment, right? So, if you can't, if you want to be the bully and the bad guy, that's kind of not the group I'd pick.
But that's your own personal kind of morality when it comes to the game. Like and you're perfectly welcome to it.
Yeah, I don't really separate my personal morality in the game. Like, I don't role play someone else, right? Like, Billy comes on here, I wouldn't role play or treat him any different than I would treat him in a bar having drinks, right? I know he's trying to blow up our space, and that's okay. That's cool, right? But when we're talking to people, you just be...
Can I just say real quick that I treat you all very differently to the way I would treat you all in a bar? And McLeod and Caleb
you treat me like shit in real life.
I'd be buying y'all shots and getting y'all drunk, so that's pretty much what would be happening.
I buy you drinks. What more do you want, McLeod? Huh?
I was joking.
I just want to point out.
I'm not gonna suck you off in a bar, Jesus.
I just
no king shaming. Hello.
Yeah,
and I can confirm that McLeod prefers you to be a little bit more handsy.
That's just so bad. You guys are so bad.
Ooh, okay.
So wrong. So
this is how this show goes.
So kind of scary.
Well, that definitely sidetracked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like we won.
So they destroyed the Sotillo. Sounds like it was a good fight in Baskrin.
Sounds not from what I heard, but there was.
Yeah, I heard it was a
fight
mess
in Basgurn. I'm expecting that the Keepstar will die in much the same kind of like a bunch of MPSI fleets all meshed together and not really coordinating. So I expect Keepstar to die. I just wish that we'd been able to do something other than just watch it, really.
By the way, Goddammit, a meta show I believe is at 4:00 today. So,
if
an hour and 10 minutes.
If Brisk is having a shower at his usual shower before meta show kind of time, then
we can confirm Brisk got a shower today.
Brisk apparently has jokes today.
I'm pretty sure this meta show is gonna be spicy.
The meta show will be on like normal unless you guys try to break some people out again.
Brisk is sewing the costumes.
Yeah.
It's like, hold it. It's no longer the meta show. It's now an edition of Dance Moms. He's got costumes.
It's either going to be the most amazing costume you've ever seen, or it's going to be the absolute worst costume.
No, see, you've missed this, right? Like, Brisk is just in the Meta Show sweatshops right now. He's sewing Mitten's black shirt. Mittens has a new shirt for every show, and Brisk sews them, and he just gets beaten for it.
Taylor.
Well, I'm still waiting for him to upgrade the EVE streamer community to the point where we all have to do hair and makeup as well before we go on shows.
See, that's why I don't go on camera. So,
you aren't even in focus, so I don't think that's necessary.
I just want to say, this is why having long hair is the best. You just grab a hairband, whack it up, and you're ready to go. It's great. Nice and easy.
Does anyone have any weird things they do before going on a show?
It's the same.
What'd you say?
Does anyone have any weird things they do before they go on any of the shows?
I get in this channel and talk to you guys.
Spin round 3 times. Say Satan backwards and sacrifice a goat. What the fuck are you talking about?
I have to hype myself up personally, just
I thought you said something else there.
I'm going on the show. Why am I going on the show? I'm going on the show. That's basically my process.
Just walk into a walk-in cupboard and then just shout fuck at the
Who's-
at the loudest volume you can and come out and do
Who's
the show.
Billy Bob Bunnigans?
Brisk says
So
that he
I-
puts on a suit, does his. Brisk says that he puts on a suit, does his makeup, and gets a cup of coffee. And I just want to call bullshit on that because Brisk, there is no way you are wearing a full suit in lockdown.
Half a suit at least.
He doesn't wear pants.
At most, yeah.
I've seen the
I
feet
have this
pics.
little
You're not
doll.
wearing a full suit.
I have this little doll that looks like Villy, and I stick pins in it before the show. That's
Billy's
what I do.
already here. Billy's
I'm
in
sorry,
the
Billy's
room.
here.
Whoa,
Holy
Billy
shit!
is
Oh
in
yeah, I
the
shouldn't have
room.
said that. That's so mean. I'm sorry, Billy. I don't.
I think we should.
Don't be mean to the guest.
I'm not mean. I was making it
Brisk,
up.
I think Brisk needs to make one of those behind the scenes segments where he shows exactly what he does to prepare, so we can see what type of foundation he
He did
uses.
that.
I actually know what type of foundation Brisk uses. I've seen the pictures, I know the brand, I could look it up if I really cared to.
Come on, Caleb. He showed
never
us
seen
his
it.
whole process when he did his video for the CSM.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I thought that was only when he does like the pro videos. I didn't think he did that every week.
No, he does that every week.
Brisk does not use Maybelline. Brisk uses a specific camera live.
Yeah, Maybelline would be a
Focused
Simon
foundation.
Garfunkel song. So it's.
So are we on final thoughts, or we?
We should be. We
I-
have 9
I-
minutes left.
I hear that Fountain Frank spends a grueling 14 hours in makeup every Saturday.
To try to look good.
Yeah, but how many hours does Querius George spend planning
That's
extract
terrible.
attempts?
I mean,
Oh, planning
I can't.
Planning
I,
extract attempts for the other side, yeah.
I can't believe Brisk puts makeup on for the meta show. It's crazy. I haven't had makeup on since freaking High School Musicals. Jeez, Brisk.
George
works 24/7.
apparently works 24/7. He does not sleep. He doesn't eat. He just works to create extract attempts for Legacy.
Well,
Sounds good.
can we expect anything else tonight, Billy, or do we get the night off? Anything you want to
what do you
share?
mean?
Are we gonna
I
have
mean,
to spend 5
are
hours
we
in
gonna-
M2 again? Is what she's asking.
I don't
Are we
know.
streaming again tonight or not?
It's tiring us out, Billy.
I know it is.
Can't
It's
keep on
tiring
doing-
us too. But
Billy, no matter
Please,
what
please
you
tell
do,
me that you're going to be doing more things so we can be there
whether
and tire ourselves out more.
whether you're doing more things or not, I'm going to the hibachi for dinner for my oldest
We did that
20th
Wednesday.
birthday. Oldest 20th birthday. That's what he picked.
if I had to guess, you're probably good to go rest.
I don't
be
believe
wrong.
that means that you are
Yeah.
going to be
If
doing
you had to,
tonight.
yeah.
You know what?
Like,
that scene
The
from
fact that you phrased it,
I was
you
just
had
kind of
to
saying, like,
guess.
there's no way that he can answer that in any
Yeah.
way that isn't going to
I
be
know,
like,
that's the
oh,
point.
you know.
I
Okay,
picture-
This is his time to give me a comedic answer, like, oh yeah,
No,
of course we're gonna
the best
go in there
part
and
of
have some
that
tea and
is
crumpets.
the best part of this is the comment in Twitch chat from Donald Sprunk saying either shit or get off the pot. Like,
You know, Billy, I see this, Princess Bride scene, but you would be this type of man, and so clearly I cannot drink out of your glass.
But then I can.
I mean, the reality is we have a Forzar that onlines tonight in M2, so obviously we're going to be showing up in M2 to.
okay, guys, we're all gonna have to be ready for like 7 hours
So-
worth of just sitting around.
But that's
Yeah,
just another
so we need-
U.S. time zone op. So my guess is we'll come in, we'll shoot the bubbles, and the Forzar in the middle if those have been replaced.
If
Depending how you guys handle that, we'll determine how we kind of react with the rest of the stuff, and so on from there. Like, it's literally the same plan as most nights, realistically.
same thing we do every night.
Hey,
Pinky.
Pinky.
Boy, you walked into that one, Billy. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, I walked into it because that's the exact same bar we've been walking into for like 2 weeks, right?
I meant the
It's
pinky
a good
and
way
the
to kind
brain
of test
comment.
reactions, get people interested, etc.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm like, I didn't say that as like a negative thing. I'm just kind of like, a funny thing. Because she did the pinky and the brain thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I mean,
have to get.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
what this
yeah.
game is, right? You know, you do things, we do things. I mean, it's, you know, it is what it is.
I mean, like, I think we've made the joke on comms in Pappy a couple times where it's like, Johnny, Bob, what are we doing tonight? Same thing that we do every night, Billy. Trying to fuck with them in M2. And it's like, all right.
Oh my god, you should make an actual video with that. That would be the most funny thing
Where's
ever.
Cryo? Cryo's in the hospital. He's
Dear
got nothing to
fucking
do.
lord, where is Mini True? Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Cryo's in the hospital, but he's got plenty of time on his hands to do stuff.
Cryo's been
Sure he
churning
can
out
whip
some
something
good
out.
stuff from the hospital, like the Hydro Bubbles pick. Have we talked about Hydro Bubbles pick tonight?
We
I
did
did that
But
while
Billy-
in hospital.
Ballin would
Yeah, he
like
did
to
that
tell
while in
you
hospital.
he wants
He's done
more
almost
EU.
everything in hospital for the past like 4 months.
Dude's been churning out like INN headers and like generally just fun art from hospital like crazy. Dude's a champ.
He was
Fucking
supposed to
champ.
get released this week, but I don't know why, but they didn't.
I know exactly why. They got his gallbladder but missed a gallstone.
Ugh.
So he's waiting.
Wait,
for
how do
them
you miss
to,
a gallstone?
I don't
It's
know.
like we're missing
fucking
quite an interesting fight in EU time zone right now, actually.
doctors, man.
Oh, are we? Where is it at?
Fight going on?
FM.
Well, we won. Well, we won the PDE. I saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you defended the timer. But it's quite a hack brawl, looks like.
I mean, yesterday we destroyed
It always seems to be a hack ball.
a test iHub under 4 enemy hack fleets because they were busy sitting around looking at us.
Is that the one where we in Toast like half of Helm's Deep instead of defending a random iHub?
Okay, not to dox any further,
Maybe.
but am I the only one that got a little bit medically worried about the statement of removing the gallbladder but missing a gallstone?
Yeah, I told you. I was just.
Did
how do
they
you do
not
that?
use
But
the
then again, people
remove the
leave watches and
gallbladder with the
bodies.
little vacuum thing and just suck it all
Look,
up?
Look, doctors, man. But
Where the fuck did the gallstone go then?
It just rolled off into the cavity.
Hey,
Let's
hey,
see.
somewhere
Caleb,
in there.
Caleb, gallstone corner pocket. You know.
There's a lot of pod deaths happening right now that I see. Lots of pods.
Yeah, usually when pod deaths start happening en masse, it means one side is extracted from the field.
Can
so
I-
that frees up
or a
everybody to
bombing
shoot
run
pods.
hit.
Or a bomb.
If I had to take a look guessing at the battle report, we just won the field, but obviously I can't say that, affirmatively because I'm not sure.
Because you're here instead of.
Can't
there.
say it on this show.
Should've-
God
Yeah,
damn
why
it.
are you?
Yeah, why can't you say?
But can I just say as well, just to vaguely circle
No, it
back
does
to
look like
other
you guys are
topics
winning
that we've
right now.
discussed, everything always seems to devolve into a hack brawl, even after regular balance changes. So I don't know.
Well,
what are we
looking at
supposed
the
to do with
total-
this?
When was the last time
Because
I
if
regular
you-
balance changes?
If you
It's the most
gave,
efficient use of the titanium that is available.
so there's a variety of factors that cause that, right? So battleships are probably the strongest counter to hacks, but the thing is that battleships are immobile, which means for Entosis timers, you can't
Useless.
really,
Well, you can.
maneuver around as much as you need to.
You need to be smart about it.
So,
No, realistically, once you commit a battleship fleet to the field, you're effectively not leaving system at all.
Maybe
without
never.
Yes,
significant
of course.
cost.
So
We've got materials up to
you
2K
need to
speed.
do it in a way that forces the fight onto the hack fleet, so they can't maneuver around you.
Well, it's not so much maneuvering about forcing the fight in the hack fleet. It's about literally you can't Entosis timers often require fleets to switch systems 1, 2, 5, 10 times, right? You're going from system to system to system, and battleships just can't keep up on that. They get bubbled on a gate, or they have facts with them for Logi because they need that, or otherwise the Logi are just the weak point of the doctrine. Battleships have a ton of different doctrinal weaknesses that make them not good for that situation. You can see, Imperium especially right now has got Baltex and Rocks, which are both great when you're in a situation where you're on top of a citadel, right? And the mobility is not a factor. But when you're dealing with Entosis timers, mobility is a massive factor, and it just makes it really hard to utilize anything but hack fleets. You can use battlecruiser fleets like Feroxes and Hurricanes and such, but they're so vulnerable to being bombed in an environment where you need maneuverability that that it just precludes them from being what they need to be.
Well, I tend to be on the opposite side of the spectrum there. I would say you have a really fast fleet, like Harpy fleet or a Jackdaw fleet, that is taking care of the enemy hackers and keeping your hackers safe. And you have a big fleet that can project some damage to keep the enemy big fleets away from the small fleet taking care of the hackers, right?
I'm not really
Yeah,
sure what you
like-
just said there that's different than what I said.
Well,
You're talking about the side fleets that deal with the hacking stuff in a
Yes.
more. But the thing is, chasing down those small and medium-sized fleet is part of what the hack fleet enables you to do that battleship fleet don't allow you to do. If there's a Jackdaw fleet circling around the constellation going after your hackers, then often as not, especially if it's a large Jackdaw fleet, you need a medium-sized hack fleet to deal with them. And if there's a medium-sized fleet chasing your Jackdaws, then all of a sudden you need a large hack fleet to chase off the medium hack fleet. Like that's how you create this constant mobility, this constant back and forth, and why mobility becomes such a huge factor in these Entosis fights.
or you could be prepared for all of this to happen and have a battleship fleet on the only in-gate they can come through.
Yeah, but not all of them are.
But that
They
doesn't
would've
really
only
work
gone in
except
gates.
unless you have an entirely Sinogem constellation, which you guys no longer have, right? Except for Helm's Deep and Wendy Q area, which is why those things don't work. I mean, they work in that context, right? But as soon as there's a hole in the Sinogem, then people can pour through at any real area.
Yeah, I think in that kind of sense, that's been a bit of a kind of a letdown with the whole Aegis Sov and the possibility that you could that the geography of a constellation would actually be an interesting variation to the Sov warfare going on inside of it, because you initially kind of like there was a really cool opportunity where the difference in geography would actually create choke points in this than the other. That would force or cause kind of interesting situations to occur that are different each time.
The thing is, McCluck, you can't really compare what we have now with the initial implementation of Aegis Sov, right?
Oh, the initial
They
implementation
have-
was fucked.
Yeah, they have definitely
But,
implemented
they've improved it.
some of the things that we wanted them to put in, right? And it has definitely gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
Yeah, I agree.
the term Aegis Solve is banned on this show. It is. Okay.
Is it still Fuzzy Solve? Are we still referring it to it as
absolutely.
Fuzzy
I thought it's Jesus lasers.
Solve? Yes. Anyway, it's
All right,
top of the hour, I
final
believe.
thoughts. Yeah, because
Yeah, we're
think we're
way
gonna have
over
our
time. So
fireside
final
soon.
thought, Billy. I'm going to give you a final thought here. Do you have a final thought?
Not really, no.
No thoughts.
Have a beautiful day, Imperium people. We'll see you again.
All right.
Oh,
All right,
wasn't
who's
that
next on
nice?
the-
That was a really nice final.
Yeah,
thought
that
from
was
Billy.
yeah. Oh, he actually left. He doesn't have to leave.
No, he's probably
you probably
that's why,
want to. You
he's
guys
like,
have been on and on
"Goddamn."
about the same subject for an hour and a half.
he probably has a lot of stuff
I
to do
can't
today.
take
Look,
So
it.
it's
go on.
probably-
Yeah.
At least we can stay on a topic.
yeah.
for more than 5
My
minutes.
comment was it wasn't
We
like,
don't-
hey,
that's
give me your
totally
final
not a
thought and get
qualifier.
the hell out, right? That wasn't what we were doing. We just go round robin, right?
We just wanted-
I'm sure he didn't get that impression.
I hope
I
not.
actually have a lot to do as well.
Okay, go.
But I'll promise I'll
Freaking-
listen to your last things as well, and not gonna leave them.
No, you're up. Give your final thoughts. So, Mr. Seal.
Well, again, if you guys want to take part in the Anger Games, there's still spots open. Make sure you sign up as soon as possible because
Shit's
well-
going quick.
it's going quick. Yes.
The 4 definite spots are going fast. You don't want to be in. You ideally don't want to be in the sort of luck of the draw kind of positions. But it's still a way of getting in.
Is that your final thought,
Yep.
McLeod?
That's it.
Okay. That's
Oh,
yours.
that's not my final thought.
All right. What's your final thought, Mr. McLeod?
My final thought was I was hoping that I was actually going to get to to gloat about the America's Cup today because I know that you watch it.
Yeah, well, y'all shouldn't have
What do you
spent
mean, gloat?
an hour and a half talking about CCP and how awful the
Look,
shit they do is. I'm
Dawn,
just
I'm
saying.
just
again,
gonna
Dawn,
pile
You
on.
guys are
About-
so like,
about
ju-
beating
like,
about
honed in
Britain
on that.
beating America by a kilometer or more than a kilometer.
look,
Let's put it this
no,
way: that
I
shit,
just have
that
a thing
boat.
for Dawn.
Hold on, that boat,
Just
McLeod.
saying.
I gotta add in for context for people, right? America's Cup, sailboat racing, all this bullshit, right? So number one, okay, Team Ineos, the UK. By the way, excellent skipper on that ship, by the way.
He's a
but
fucking legend.
but they were 0 for 8 in the initial trials, and whatever the hell they did to that ship, it is the fastest boat out there right now. It's amazing to see that sucker go. You won, and they won the Prada Cup, right?
That's
So
crazy.
next we go into the trials to see who goes against who is the challenger against New Zealand for the cup, right? So yes,
Yeah.
that team
Anyway,
has
that
done
was
a hell
that
of a
was my
job.
final thought.
Yeah,
That's my final
I'm
thought.
just gonna pile on. They did a great job. It's amazing.
Are
Great
we
crew.
reintroducing obscure sports on Push to Talk?
This is the obscure
Reintroducing?
sports statement. It's all McLeod's fault.
It's just because I know that Eric watches.
We've
America's
just
Cup.
skipped it for quite a lot of episodes, as far as I know, right? But it used to be a fixed element that we were covering some sort of weird sport.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I just realized we haven't talked about food at all today.
See, another one.
Jesus
We
Christ.
start
right.
losing our unique selling points. This is because Dawn insisted we do serious Eve stuff.
Look, no, it's not. It's because we're actually capable of staying on topic rather than the Theta Thursdays. We need a new topic every
Yeah.
5
Guys,
fucking
by the way,
minutes, even if the
Fireside
first
is
topic
going
is
up.
the same thing we were talking about
Yeah.
half a fucking hour ago.
Listen, our selling
Okay.
point is that
Let's hurry it up, guys.
Okay.
So,
Next.
Dawn, final thoughts.
Dirk, you're up.
No, Dawn,
final
fine.
thought is
Dawn,
everyone
go
should
ahead,
watch
Dawn.
Theta Thursday and send your pet pictures to Mifune or I so we can add them in for the show next week.
All right,
That's it.
Dirk.
Dave, what's your final thought?
I managed to get through my first place without killing any of my kids, so I think that's a success for me.
Yay!
You got
Yeah.
what without
Without
killing all
killing
of
your
your kids?
I'm a trainee teacher, so my first placement finished on Friday.
Oh, great! So
There you
you didn't kill any of your students. That is
Correct.
a positive thing. Bravo, golf clap, and all the rest of it.
Can
I
I
feel
just
like-
ask, did you teach them remotely or were you on location? Because it's kind of relevant to the whole killing thing.
The first half was in person, the second half was remote.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Raise my hand. Okay. Do you have a trapdoor installed in your classroom?
Negative.
Okay. You need
Should
one of
you
those.
have a trapdoor
Yes.
installed in?
Yes, I
It's
should.
like, it's like little Billy. Come here. A little closer. A little closer. Right down there to Mrs. What's her name's meat pies. Just get rid of them. You don't have to kill them. She'll take care of it. If you ever
I'd pull the
seen
wrong
Sweeney
lever,
Todd.
only.
Meat pies.
You ever watch Sweeney Todd the musical?
I was going to
Guys,
say, what is this Sweeney
Guys,
Todd?
time.
All right,
All
Caleb,
right.
what's your one last thing?
Aside from I passed all my exams, and I'm still pondering whether or not it's an appropriate name for a foundation to call it Smashbox. I think there's some sort of connotations in there.
Look, if you're going to pay me to join your foundation, that's fine. Just make sure you pay me.
Oh, hey, yeah.
I was talking about the makeup, but it's fine.
We're getting paid.
My one last thing is also to tout the Angry Games, which is why I was kind of pushing it a bit.
Angler games, angler games, angler
Oh.
games.
Fuck off with your fish bullshit.
Mittens has a
But yeah,
fish.
the Angry Games is going to be a ton of fun. We're going live on Twitch end of April and early May. Like 3 weekends of tournament play, 7v7 stuff. Team signups are open now, so go ahead and make sure you're signing up on the Discord and throwing us your Plex. And yeah, should be a great time.
Alrighty. Did we miss anybody? Other than me? I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. And we'll be back here next week. That's my one last thing. You all have a great time. Thanks, everybody, for being part of the panel. Appreciate it.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Bye, guys.
Bye.